and that's really, I think, kind of, I think, hard, because a lot of times people spending, especially during kind of like this time, shifts from, paying attention to things that need to get fixed to spending for the holidays and getting stuff for the holidays. So a lot of times people will hold off until January, when, after the white sales and things start to kind of return back to normal. Then it's like, oh, I need to, fix the pipes. Um, it is, but you also need to give yourself a work life balance. And if you are always working, you're going to wind up getting stressed and burnt out. Then you're no good to no one, because you're so burnt out. Your work begins to go. It becomes poor quality work, and so it needs to be a bit of a work life balance. So if you want to be a bit with your family and girlfriend, then I think maybe it probably is a good idea at least to get that kind of connection, so that you do feel a bit connected. You don't feel stressed, because when you start to feel really stressed, it is exactly, and that's one of the things. You don't want to be one of these individuals who are always working and you have nothing, you know, and you have nothing to show for it, or somebody to share your life with. It becomes very kind of empty, and that's all you really have, and nobody's going to remember you for really for the work you did, but who you are. And when I first started working in the UK, did a temporary job, and I had somebody who really put things into perspective, and told me, um, "You work to live. You don't live to work." And so it's always something that I've always kind of taken to heart. That you work to live. You don't live to work. It's not your whole identity. Always being um working, and you're feeling kind of burnt out because you're trying to answer everybody's questions. They're beginning to get to you. It's always probably a good sign that you need to take a little bit of break, maybe scale back. And if you feel time like the need to spend a little time with your family, girlfriend, and stuff, I think it really is. Um, exactly, exactly. And I found that it is, and you make a good point, George. Um, It can be. In Like I said, working for me in IT, I tend to be an introvert myself, but because of what I do, I have to be a bit more extroverted. So when I'm like in my job, or I'm dealing with inquiries for my business, I tend to be very extroverted. I can be very extroverted, but when I'm away from that, I'm very introverted. Um, and there's certain things that you do find, for example, like I said, working in IT, you know it gets to be very lonely at times, and it is really hard on you, and you just need to have that contact. Even though I'm not really the kind of people person, I for me couldn't handle dealing with people, well, um 24/7, and continuously in it. I like kind of like what I do. It's just starting up a business, because I can take time to kind of, think things through, have that a bit of it does. And you do like that. And that's what I kind of liked about IT. You do like that kind of um, that the time by yourself, because you can do things, you can have a chance to think, and kind of do that kind of more the introvert, but it can't be fully introvert all the time. You miss that kind of that social contact. Oh no, it's not. No, totally. I know what you mean. Ah, see, it is, and that's really good, George. And you may actually enjoy it because a lot of people I know really enjoyed IT, and I did too. Like I said, I just found at times it can be very, a lot of lack of contact because I was kind of more on the service management end of things, so I wasn't programming. Um, you know, um, and so I was more service management. So I would be taking, basically complaints from people regarding why their systems aren't working, and then taking those concerns and issues to the supplier and dealing with the supplier to get the issues resolved. And so it was kind of a I was kind of in a way the middleman between the business and the supplier. And so it was kind of more or less you would kind of describe it as a supplier management, into things. Yep, exactly. And so as long as you can kind of keep that in perspective and really kind of make sure you balance that, I think you will be I think you will be really, you know, I think you will be, you know, really good, and things will and I think maybe part issue for you, you know, yes, you can do freelancing, yes, and I think you're in a good position. Um, and that's what I like about like contracting and stuff, and starting my own business is to be my own boss, and that's what I always enjoyed. That's why I liked umbrellas. Good question, Marie. Um, you can to a certain extent.